Before we had KIDaccount, it was a little chaotic outside. Essentially, we would send all the kids outside. They would try to wave down their parents like they're in Times Square, and we would send the kids out to try to catch their mom or dad as they were pulling up through the driveway. We'd have kids walking through cars. We'd have teachers just flailing and grabbing children by the hand, and it was a little bit nuts, but it was always the way it was. We never really thought that there was another way of doing it.
This created a problem for time because the students weren't always paying attention when their cars were there. Sometimes they would have a different person pick them up so they wouldn't recognize the car.
My name is Missy Smith and I am a parent and the PTO president at Clifford School. Prior to the system being installed, depending on which way my daughter was getting home from school, she may come out one of 3 doors. If I showed up to pick her up just as a surprise, I never knew where to meet her. There were kids that were walking all around the campus. There were parents, there were people I didn't know, and at any time somebody could grab her and walk away, and I never knew exactly where to meet her. Now I know exactly when she's coming out. I know exactly what lane I need to be in to pick her up, and it's worked out wonderfully.
The first time I ever pulled up, I was a little nervous, but it was so well outlined. I looked quickly at the diagram, and then I came up, and there's a teacher telling me exactly what to do with a big orange flag. You can't miss it. I knew exactly what to do. It was quick. It was very convenient for me. I didn't have to get out of my car. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to flag my kid down. They were brought to me in the safest manner possible.
Since KIDaccount, we have been the ease of use, the compatibility between the parents and the teachers has worked really well, and safety is obviously it's a no-brainer. What you never have to worry about your kids, when they're going to come out, where they're going to go. You know exactly they're going to come right to you, and they know right where you're at.
So I'm Jeff Bruni, and I've got a son at Clifford Elementary in Cape Girardeau, and we're a dual income family. So my wife's a nurse, and I'm a banker, and our hours are pretty hectic. I have a lot of social things that I have to go to after work, and so we have 2 nannies that pick the kids up, sometimes 3, depending on who's doing it. And beforehand, we knew who was scheduled to pick up, but we didn't a lot of times know who actually ended up doing the pickup. So after school, we would have to text multiple people to say, hey, do you have the kids? And so it really was inconvenient. Didn't feel very safe. We trusted the girls, of course, but it didn't feel very safe that they could be anywhere in town.
Before KIDaccount, they had a list that you signed of who was approved to get your child. And that was, really officially what they would go by. But that was more for if you went into the school and picked them up, because they had that information right there at their computer screen. But the teachers at the release times, they have no access to technology or anything. They cannot possibly remember 400 students' approved pickup list and know their vehicles.
The quickness of the procedure now is so much better for some of us that have to pick up children at other schools after this. We were constantly late before, and now we've got plenty of time to pick up the other child.
It's safe, it's convenient, there's no problems. I can have my son in and out pretty fast within 10 minutes, because before they had this process, it took 20 or 30 minutes.
Before KIDaccount, it was structured, but only structured to the point that they thought they could structure it. They didn't know there was any other way. And so it ran seemingly smooth, and they did what they could with it. But then once the KIDaccount was implemented, it was a completely different way of thinking about how you're going to be picking your kids up and how other people are going to be picking your kids up.
I would just tell teachers at another building that there is another way. The end of the day does not have to end in chaos. The end of the day can be as organized as any other part of the school day. And so KIDaccount allows you to do that. And so I would just assure them that it doesn't have to be like this. There is another way to do this.
So this is one of the biggest things I love about this, is that I'm sitting here responding to emails, and we had a change in who was picking the kids up, and I get a text alert that tells me and confirms who picked them up and when, and now that they're out of school.
The release for the students was so chaotic. They, first of all, are outside in the elements. They're under pavilion, but you have 4 lines of traffic that kids are crossing in between, and parents are not all paying attention. Half of them are on their phones anyway. So if they go, there might be a kid in front of them. You just don't know.
Once we started KIDaccount, it was completely different. We would actually bring all the kids down here in the gymnasium to the holding area. The kids, again, would line up nice and organized, get them in single file lines, and we knew exactly where everyone was going because their names would come up on the screen. We knew exactly in which the order they were going out, and so we were really accountable to exactly where these kids were going and who was picking them up at the end of the day. So all that chaos I talked about was gone, and it was a streamlined process, and it was organized, and it was just awesome.
I mean, from what I've seen, I don't think a school cannot afford it. They have to afford it. You afford what you want in this space, and when it comes to the safety and security of your students, you've got to do it.